Hey everyone, welcome to More Than Meets These Guys. This is the podcast where we go from the beginning of the Transformers series, and we have two old friends coming out from different perspectives. Together, we will go episode by episode with the occasional extra to look at how the show holds up, or if it's a trap of nostalgia. We'll be looking at all things involved in the episode, whether there are real world factors that crept into the writing, or the episode was typical afternoon cartoon fodder. I'm Evan. I'm the lifelong fan. While Ed here is he's familiar with Transformers, but there's really nothing he got into when he was younger. So thank you so much for being here today. Ed, how was your holiday, man?
Oh man, it was okay. Well, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. That I've been out for a while. I'm hurt very very bad. I got a real bad injury, and which has been leading to some bad stuff. But I had what I'm pretty sure is COVID, and it was terrible. Like it was. I think that's the second time that I've had it, and it was real bad. There was a day where I could all I could really do was lay in bed, and the only way to get comfortable was if I got into this weird position where I was like a like a fainting Victorian woman, where
Oh,
I
yes,
was
yes.
like on my side and with the back of my hand over my forehead.
Like you
And
had the vapors and
right, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And but it was in like a weird like I should have been on like a chaise lounge or something like that.
Yeah.
It was pretty awful.
Yeah.
And I missed a bunch of work. It was pretty bad.
Right in time for the holidays too. Perfect.
Right in time for the holidays. I
Yeah.
was better by the holidays, and so that was fine. But I had a good I would say relaxing, but it really wasn't a relaxing Christmas. We had we did our normal Christmas stuff, and then we normally do a brunch for some of our extended family. So I was up early opening presents, and then cooking about 25 Belgian waffles, and I filled up my Blackstone with bacon and
Oh,
sausage twice, and cooked two entire rashers of bacon, and
feeling it.
uh, yeah, I really like the word rasher of bacon, though. I think that's a really good
It's a
word. It shows up
really
a
pretty
lot in
rap.
the Game of Thrones books. If you've
Yeah,
ever read
yeah.
those, he likes to talk about
Yeah.
rashers of bacon.
Yeah, we I've been doing some episodes with Boo because you've been out, and I do kind of want to let you recover completely. And also, the holidays are really a tough time to do things, anyways.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I'm. It's actually for the business I'm in right now. It's the busiest time of the year for me, so I am just like running on fumes most of the time. So we had actually I prepared for this episode, say 3 weeks ago, maybe longer.
Ooh,
And okay, I had to redo it all because I kind of wiped my Windows laptop to get to my son for Christmas, which is cool. He's 15. He should have his own computer for
yeah.
all sorts of things. But so yeah, like I thought I sent all my scripts of my notes to my MacBook. Apparently, I did not. So regretful
Oh,
there. But I watched the episode over again. It was one of the episodes I've watched a lot, so it was fun. But yeah, man, honestly, we the holidays are always kind of a crazy time. So we actually had a year this year where we pretty much had a low key holiday. I got the three kids, two stepchildren and my son, Nerf guns, and
ooh,
the half the day was them playing Nerf gun fights in the house. So we all hid away. It was kind of nice in that way, dude.
nice.
Yeah, we I was so mad. We're those people who we know the kids don't believe Santa Claus. Doesn't matter. We wanted to put all the like most of the presents out for like Christmas Eve or after they go to bed. So they wake up and see this whole grandiose thing. It's a whole kind of a I don't
It's
know, a
cool.
ritual. Yeah, you want to come out. It's like,
It's
wow, what
yeah,
happened?
it's cool.
So I was up to 3 a.m. Christmas Eve doing that
Mm-hmm.
because someone decided she didn't want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So here we
Yep.
are.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you always have your Christmas morning ritual watching Die Hard.
Oh, yes. I wake up before everybody else. I've done this for years. I've done this for probably like 13 or 14 years now. I
Which is
wake up
great.
before everybody else. I make a cup of coffee, or I make a pot of coffee. And I really enjoy my the mornings, but like waking up before everybody else. Because like my wife and I have this opposite thing where she stays up later than me, and she like does her like solo thing where she's like, oh, I'm gonna read, or I'm gonna do this or that or whatever. She does it like after I go to from like 11 to like 1, and I do mine from like 5 to like 7 in the morning. So I always wake up and watch Die Hard on Christmas morning with a cup of coffee. This year though, I woke up and our inflatable, we have like like the yard inflatable, like we have an igloo with some penguins on it, and we had a really bad storm here Christmas Eve night, and I peeked out front because the inflatable it has lights in it, so it's like a glowing igloo, and the igloo was gone. And it was like, I was like, oh, I thought my wife had already brought it in or something like that, or I was like, oh, maybe she was prepared for the storm or whatever. So like I peeked outside and I was like, oh, it's not anywhere. And so I go out and there's just the extension cord. It's just bare, like in the yard. It was like I was like, what's going on? And these things are like staked into the ground with like camping stakes. And so I had to I went in real quick and got dressed, and so it's throw it on jeans and a black hoodie, and
As you
it's
wear.
5:30, yeah, as I do, and looking like I look, walk around in my neighborhood, I was like, somebody's gonna call the cops on me because I look like a criminal, like I'm breaking into somebody's house to steal their PlayStation 5 or something like this. So I finally found, after a few minutes, I finally tracked down, I found my inflatable, deflated, my deflatable, balled up in my neighbor's yard down the street and across the streets. That was a lot of fun. So.
Man.
Yeah.
You live in a pretty, like, not, I would say bougie neighborhood, but it's like so upper middle class. I could see that. And I'm like looking like this long-haired freak in a hoodie walking down the street for Christmas morning trying to case joint and sell.
Well, so somebody one time thought that I was like a landscaper. I was working in my yard, and somebody thought that, and like, hey, where do you who do you work for? And I was like, oh, I do IT. And they were like, well, I was like, no, this is my house,
I work for my wife.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, this is your house. Like, yeah. So,
yeah, man. Here's a card. You can call me. I charge premium rates, but I'll do it.
Like, if you got an email server, I'll help you fix that up. But I don't know. I'm not coming to cut any hedges or anything like that. So
I may need to hire you, man. My leaves here in Auburn are ridiculous. I have so many white oaks in my yard. White oaks, tulip poplars, and sweet gum, and there are leaves everywhere. It is like this thick of leaves. Like it's like imagine you had like snow, but it was leaves. I'm just gonna take a lawnmower to it here soon.
That's fine. Right. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. Anything on the ground, my solution is to just grind it up with a lawnmower.
Like, I got a Husqvarna.
I don't care what it is.
Like, grind the suckers up. It's so good.
I don't care. Tennis balls, whatever. I'll grind them up in a lawnmower.
Dog toys.
Dog toys.
Dude, whatever. I see them fly. That is like beautiful, like icing on the cake.
Stumps. I'll just raise it up and
dude. Okay,
I'll ruin a lawnmower to get rid of a stump.
I will tell you though, man. Here in Auburn, we have rocks. We have like granite bed everywhere here. I know you don't there.
Those too,
dude. No, you will not. I have shot off so many sparks. Or mowing my back lawn. It's ridiculous. I'm surprised I haven't started a brush fire. But speaking of a fire, for this episode, man, make tracks.
Make tracks. I had something that I wanted to ask you though.
Of course. Go ahead.
I have something I want to ask you. Have you ever consciously? Because I'm wrestling with this right now. Pun intended, which we'll get to in a second. Have you ever like consciously stopped liking or engaging with something that you like? Like I say, where you're like, and not like, because this happens like, or like made an effort to stop interacting, because like, and I don't mean like, oh, like there's like a TV show or like a band that you like, and you just kind of gradually listen to it less and less, and then it just falls off your radar completely, and then you're just like, oh yeah, I used to really like the Strokes or whatever, and but now you just don't really care or interact with it anymore. It's like something that you're like, it's fine, but have you ever gone like, I'm not engaging with this anymore? And yeah. And like, and people that have listened to the show before and know what I like to talk about, I'm not talking about Warhammer. I assume that you're probably thinking I'm talking about Warhammer.
No, I know you would not do that with Warhammer.
I've done that several times though. I've consciously quit Warhammer several times. Like probably like 4 times.
You are moth and it is the flame.
Oh, I know I'll come back, but I mean, flame. but I mean, that's not to say that I wouldn't at some point go, you know
Yeah,
what, I'm done with Warhammer for now and sell all my stuff off, which I have done that multiple times.
and rebought it. Yes, I know.
Right. Um, no, but the thing right, pro wrestling is
Hmm.
the thing right now. Like I've said multiple times on the show how much I love pro wrestling,
Mhm.
and honestly, over the years, my interest in wrestling kind of ebbs and flows, and as things tend to do. But like in the last year and a half, a dude named CM Punk has completely ruined my interest in pro wrestling. You know the story of this guy? You know about this guy?
I do kind of there. The only reason I know this is because, all right, there was this horror movie on Shudder that he
Yeah,
made or whatever. It is awful.
I'm sure it is like
It
everything
is
else.
terrible. So I'm like,
Um,
man, I know the name CM Punk, so I wanted to find out what's going on with him. And I kind of like read read the story, read the wiki, if you will, about
mhm.
CM Punk. Then I saw like videos of him talking about how bad it was and how much he get infections and be on antibiotics. And
Yeah,
he crapped himself and during a match and like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he tries to make himself as this tragic character, but he's really unlikable
He
to
is.
me.
Well, see, but here's the thing though, is that like
Yeah.
I was at a very low point in my interest in wrestling in like
Mhm.
in the late 2000s, and especially after the whole Chris Benoit thing happened.
Mhm.
Chris Benoit was my favorite wrestler for years, and then the whole thing happened where it like I'm sure everyone listening knows this because it's just popular culture at this point. But if you don't, Chris Benoit was a really good pro wrestler that went crazy and killed his family and then himself. And CM Punk was the dude that kind of, well, was like, oh well, this guy, like this guy seems like he's like a legit like punk rock dude, because
Mhm.
it's really like, everything's fake in wrestling, and it's really easy to, like, oh, that dude's not a plumber, or he's not a real hockey player, he's just a wrestler that's a hockey player.
He's
But
not a honky tonk man.
right, or like, oh, this dude's do like a surfer character,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
But like with punk rock, if you grew up into punk rock, it's like you can sniff out fakes
yeah,
like real quick. And like that dude, I was like, oh, this guy's actually legit. Like, okay, I was like, oh, this guy's cool, and it's cool having,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just some a dude that's like a truck driver, that got a mohawk. This guy's legit. So I was like, oh, so this, he kind of brought me back into wrestling, and I was like, oh, this guy's real cool. And then things happen, and like, and so yeah, but over the last couple of years, this dude has just thrown fits and like
Mhm.
almost like destroyed the company that he worked for and all this stuff. But yeah, but the last few months after him pulling all this stuff, I've just kind of like got to the decision where I'm just kind of done with wrestling indefinitely. And it's weird because like traditionally I don't really care about like WWE or what goes on there. Like I
Yeah.
like other wrestling. And I'll sometimes watch the Royal Rumble because it's generally a pretty fun match to watch. But
Mhm.
my big event every year that I watch is the January 4th New Japan Pro Wrestling Tokyo Dome show, the Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Um,
I know you are a huge fan of Pro Japan wrestling.
yeah, I love Japanese
Yeah,
wrestling.
yeah.
And for a while, for years, I'd go all out for that show. And I would, a lot of times I'd take the day off, and some of my friends would come over, and we'd cook up some Japanese street food. Like we'd cook up like okonomiyaki or
Mm.
some like yakitori or something like that, and drink some
That sounds
poros, and
awesome.
watch like 3 or 4 hours of Japanese wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's their big show. It's at the Tokyo Dome, so there's like this huge capacity crowd
Sounds
or
like
whatever.
WrestleMania, but
It's
better.
it's their yeah, it's their WrestleMania basically. And but this year, like one of the biggest, like they have a huge match that's two of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and like I don't even care. I have no like I have no desire to even watch this. And if you're out there going, thinking that I'm one of these people that's like, oh man, like the Attitude Era was the best, and I'm like, no, that's incorrect, because the Attitude Era was terrible, and go back and watch it, and it's awful, and you only liked it because you were 14 and Steve Austin said swear words on TV.
How do you really feel, man?
What about you? Have
Um,
you ever just quit liking something? You ever been like, man,
yeah,
I'm not
actually,
watching football anymore? Have you ever done that? Or...
yeah, actually, I dude, I will tell you, and I live in Auburn, and I've been a fan of Auburn all my life, Auburn
Yeah.
football.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like make you hate college football more than living in a town where college football is made, or done rather. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I just after the first year was cool. I went to a couple of games and like after the first year, I'm like, man, I just want to get out of this area. So I get it, and I don't want to involve in the games, but my business the way it is, I make money off of the game, so I'm happy when they're in town. Like right now, it's dead in town. So yeah, I mean that kind of stuff happens. I mean, there is music I couldn't get enough of, and I just don't want to listen anymore because
But but did you go? Did you go? I'm not listening to this to Turbo Negro or whoever anymore. I don't even know if you like. I don't even know if you like Turbo Negro or not. Did you ever just consciously go, I'm not listening to this band anymore?
yeah,
Or
I actually have.
they just kind of fall off you? Because a lot of times they just kind of fall off your radar. It's just like entropy, you know. But
Well, yeah, I mean that happens. Then you like rediscover like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this again. I haven't listened to this forever. It's really cool. No,
Mhm.
there's I back in high school, I loved Metallica.
Okay.
When they started going very like, okay, one major riff in a song. And I understand that when you have they have albums like Master of Puppets where they change riffs constantly, they change the whole
Mhm.
tone of the song constantly. It's tough. It's hard song to play. When they went to the Black Album and it was a Bob Rock who was produced the album, it was
Mhm.
one constant theme through the whole
Right.
song. It got kind of boring. And I know it's mainstream, so I get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I tried to listen to things, and I still do love listening to like Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning.
Mhm.
But other than that, I'm kind of over it. So
Okay.
I just stopped. I made a point. I don't want to listen to that shit anymore. Um, so sorry for the S bomb. Try to keep this clean. Um,
You better bleep that out to keep our
right?
keep the E rating
I
off
actually
off our podcast.
actually like I said, they're in high school. I was a big metal fan. I actively stopped listening to Megadeth because Dave Mustaine is such a chode.
I stopped
Uh,
listening to them because they're bad, but
Well, when you're in high school, you don't always know it's good and
yeah, I
bad.
know.
And
Yeah, fair
when
enough.
I like Hangar 18 was a huge album for me. I listened a lot, and then I started to see what Dave Mustaine was really like as a person. I'm like, yeah, I don't listen to this person at all. I will listen to other people. Yeah, exactly. You start to realize how bad some people are. You just don't listen to them anymore. Or when you realize what kind of person some people are, you don't want to watch them in a movie or a TV show anymore. That's what I actively did with some music because during the I would say during the mid 90s, it was like shotgun splatter blast for me from like listening to metal bands. And I know your show that you hurt your back so bad was Biohazard. Man, I had a point where I was listening to Biohazard a lot.
It wasn't Biohazard. It was Corrosion of Conformity.
Oh, Corrosion of Conformity. Okay, see.
Mhm.
Still same kind of time.
Yeah.
And actually the music wasn't really all that different. But so yeah, like that whole time, like you could just shoot a bunch of stuff against the wall, and I would listen to it.
Yeah.
But after a while, you start to realize you harness in your taste and your what you want to listen to. And I know you and I have talked about like you're not a big fan of Bad Religion. I've tapered off liking them over the years because it just wasn't as good anymore. But I like the band of what they stand for. So if they actually
Yeah.
are making good music still, I will listen to more. But that's the thing.
But it's kind of yeah. I think they've kind of fallen off of that. But
They really have.
you know who didn't fall off though? Mr. David Wise, the
Dude,
writer of
he's on it.
this episode. This is we've talked about David Wise before and how
Yes,
he
we have.
like went to school to become a science fiction writer and studied with Ursula Le Guin. How cool! God, what a cool guy.
Dude, this guy, I gotta say though, he really captured a lot of that 80s, okay, kind of escape from New York kind of feel of New York in this.
Oh, okay, so immediately this episode, like
Yeah.
we pan across a dirty city, which I'm here. There's garbage cans and I know hiding in that garbage. You know what's in that? You know what's in that garbage? Some fish skeletons in there.
Heathcliff is there.
Heathcliff's back there trying to get those fish skeletons. He's back. He was lurking back there.
He's doing
Uh,
some fever dream thing with a um weird cartoon strip.
what a weird comic strip these days, guys. If you're listening out there and you're not reading Heathcliff these days, it is the weirdest, like most nonsense thing on the face of earth. It's not funny, it's not good, but I cannot stop reading it. It's just nonsense.
It's
It's
a
great.
fever dream is what it is right now
Yeah.
with fish
So
skeleton. Yeah.
but I love this. I love this kind of city at night
Mhm.
stuff like this. I love this vibe.
Oh yeah.
And the second we're panning across this, like I see there's tracks, and I'm like, I'm like, man, I bet there's going to be some 1980s punk rockers with mohawks doing some crime. And literally the second that I paused it to stop that, what do I see? Two 80s punk rockers with mohawks
Dude,
about to do some crimes.
they are proto Rock Steady and Bebop
They
too.
are. They had
They
the
really
dude
are.
had the sunglasses and everything on.
Yes,
The yeah.
Mohawk. Actually, I kind of thought he was he kind of reminded me of the guy in the bus during Star Trek 4 has the big boom box with
Yeah, I love that guy.
Kirk and Spock. Yeah, he gives
Yeah.
the bench. Yeah,
yeah.
the
I
guy
love
with the
Star Trek.
mohawk kind of reminded me of him. But yeah, man, they get into tracks. They break in with a screwdriver. So they pop the lock, they get in there. Oh man, it's far out because Trax does not look like a regular car inside. And he reaches back and sees this big orange and yellow boombox.
Oh yeah.
The back
Oh, he's
seat.
got blaster
And dude,
so
please.
So I'm like, why are Blaster and Trax hanging out? Why is he hanging out, just hanging out like in the middle of like crime alley here?
To get the cool city air.
Yeah, what is going on here? But so these clowns steal Blaster and Trax. But so the one guy finds Blaster in the back and he's like, oh, what a cool boombox, and turns the music on. And this thing just plays some music that sounds like if an AI wrote like a Grace Under Pressure era Rush song poorly.
Dude, actually, go back and listen to it. It is an instrumental of Cold Slither.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
What?
Yes, Cold Slither instrumental.
What? Oh my God, you're kidding.
I swear.
Dude, I just totally made my day. This is amazing. I'm this is great.
The interlocking of G.I. Joe and Transformers furthers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How cool is that? How cool.
So they're playing Cold Slither circa 1984, 85. It's probably on the oldie station at this point. Driving to see. Okay, the caption said the Guinness brothers, but as we've learned as the episode goes on, it's the Geddes brothers.
Geddes brothers. But the subtitles call them a bunch of different things. They say Geddes, and all this other stuff. So yeah, so these guys go take this car to a chop shop and drop it off with this cool guy. And but then I'm like, what is going on in this episode? So but then Trax and Blaster transform and like I'm still like, what's going on? So the cops pull up and bust this thing up. There's two things going on here that I need to address. First of all, the cops get out of the squad car and it's got suicide doors on the back. Did you notice this? Like,
that is the coolest police car
these ever. 1985 cops have to the only car that I could find that they could be driving would be a 1974 Thunderbird.
Honestly, in this era of New York, that probably
it's entirely possible.
Yeah,
that's entirely possible. Because I remember for a long time, like cop cars were just like they all look like
POS,
like pieces of junk.
Crown Vics, big boxy ones.
They were like LTDs and that kind of stuff. They were like watch a movie from like 1987 and earlier, and there's police in it. They're just driving these like these terrible Caprice Classics or something like that. There's these big like boxy looking cars. So I can see them driving a 15-year-old Ford.
I know. You know, my dad was a cop in Pensacola for years, and he drove an old Ford Crown Vic, the box style, for a long time. Oh, it was awful.
Now these dudes are running around in like Tahoes and all this stuff, and
I'm like Tahoes, Ford Escapes. You know, they're like with turbochargers in the engine. They don't care.
There's a Corvette over here where I live.
Dude, I know there's a Camaro and a Camaro for the sheriff's department and a Corvette for the city, I think, right?
Yep, yeah, something like that. But
that was just
the other thing you just talk about.
Well, they grabbed those on a drug run, you know they did, and they repainted.
Oh, no, I know where they came from. That's all Rico stuff. Yeah. The other thing I need to address here is that so this whole thing has just been the reason that they're doing this. The whole thing has been a sting to catch this chop shop to get these guys here. So on the one hand, this is a very dumb plot. This is very stupid, and I don't like it at all. But see, on the other hand, I've been complaining that every episode is just a Decepticon stealing energy. So this is different. So I can't hate on it. I mathematically, I cannot hate on this episode.
So
so
There's
far.
there's a whole point in the second season where it almost felt like it got bogged down in really small problems.
Hmm.
This is kind of there. And like as a kid, I hated this because I didn't care about New York City and their problems and their crime and stuff. But as an adult, I like to look back at this going real world factors. Ed Koch's New York City was
Yeah.
a crime bed.
Well, this was also the time that they were starting to kind of clean it up
Yeah, it
too.
was Crime Busters. Man, New York,
Yeah.
Optus Prime was like was working the Crime Busters unit in New York City.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
or Crime Stoppers.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Sea Spray's voice is the worst. This guy sounds like a Murloc from
Merman.
Merman. He sounds like one of those guys from World of Warcraft that where their voices
Oh,
bubble when they're coming out.
God.
And
Ooh. Yeah, he's playing this whole Captain Planet angle here. Where he's like,
he's cleaning up the river here. Yeah.
these people doing illegal dumping. And
Oh man.
he gets to the bottom of the environmental issues here.
And that's fine. I mean, he's fishing
Yeah.
crates out of the river and helping pull a car out of the river.
Yeah. Oh,
But we get a master class in contrasts here, though. So like more than any episode of Transformers so far, the backgrounds in this episode are amazing.
they really are.
They're super cool. It's this whole like city at night vibe that it's one of those vibes that I'm not really sure where it came from. I don't know what the origin of it is. And to be honest, it's a thing that I really can't even give you any examples of.
I will
It's
tell
just
you,
this. Oh,
hey, you and I both really like Down by Law.
no, the movie Down by Law?
Yeah, Down by Law movie.
Oh, I don't know if you meant the band Down by Law.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So when Tom Waits is driving through the Ninth Ward,
Mhm.
that kind of look, well, it's a different aspect of this big city, but it's still like very bright neons and stuff going through the Ninth Ward.
Yeah.
I love that part of the movie because it feels like old New Orleans, and not the kind of touristy New Orleans,
Right, but like
but like the
the dirty,
local neighborhoods.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
local, the
dirty.
dirty New Orleans, yeah,
This
like the
kind of
real.
feels like a New York version of that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
The only example that the only concrete examples I can think of are like a couple of like cartoons that parody this style. There's a couple of like Looney Tunes that parody this style,
Yeah.
but I don't know what, like, I guess the genesis of it is probably from like film noir or something like that. But I
Yeah.
know there's a Twilight Zone episode that I own every Twilight Zone and I need to find it. But there's a Twilight Zone where a guy is just like walking through the city and but there's these constant like neon bar signs flashing around him or like superimposed on him and all this stuff. Like
Yeah.
he's like haunted by this. And I really like that vibe. It's got this kind of like 50s like smooth jazz kind of soundtrack. And I really like that. But and that's the thing, is like it's so hard to like quantify that vibe, but it's like it was a thing in cinema for years. It had to be, because it's like one of those things that's in my brain. I just don't know where it comes from. But the contrast here is that as cool as before I get to the next thing, just get ready, because I'm going to keep talking about these backgrounds through this entire episode. This is my favorite thing about the episode.
Well,
But the contrast.
Let me jump in here real quick before you go on, because I don't want to cut you off later. A movie that really did a good job of this. I'm a huge fan of this movie. I love this movie so much. It's Dark City. Very like 30s, 40s vibe of this.
Yeah,
because it was always at night. It was always bright lights and stuff, and marquees and stuff. I really like that vibe a lot. That's one of the favorite things about that movie is the set dressing.
Dark City is very good. Dark City is very cool. Matter of fact, I think I might watch that tonight. But the contrast here, these amazing backgrounds with these cool like kind of painted backgrounds and everything, is the animation of Tracks himself in the car mode, because we get some sea-level Cracked magazine style drawings of Tracks here. Like he looks awful.
Yeah.
And like, so you're getting like the low grade of the knockoff. You're not even getting like bad Mad Magazine. You're getting like the bad version of the knockoff of Mad Magazine. Like, so that was it's not good. He doesn't look so good.
He is a 1983 Corvette, it's like God, what is the style? C3. He is a high-end Corvette from 1983.
But he's got like a Firebird.
Yeah.
And
sometimes he looks like a freaking Accord in this episode.
He does. He looks terrible. He looks Yeah. And then
He's
this.
basically like he's a high-end Corvette that people sought after during those years. It was after the late 70s Stingrays, but
Mhm.
still had a lot of curve and still a lot
Right.
of nice angles to it. Um, and honestly, I'll say this as as a fan of the figures. I'm a big fan of Tracks. Really cool figure. Big fan of it.
I'll say that I'm on record in this show several times saying how
Oh
much
yeah.
I dislike Transformers figures, because when I was a kid and I got them, I was disappointed every time. Trax was the one, probably one of like two or three Transformers that I ever got when I was a kid that I was like, this is great. He looks awesome in robot form. He looks really good in car form. He looks great in car form. His car form is
Mhm.
amazing, and he's got that cool little in between mode with the wings and
The
everything.
wings,
It's
yeah.
very.
And I will say, this is one of the things actually gets a lot of people is the Corvette of that year. The blue was actually a legitimate color
Oh, no
because
kidding.
a lot of times you'll have like you'll have cars that cartoons and stuff that don't have legitimate colors. This
Mhm.
was actually a legitimate color of the Corvette. It was a blue, and also they did there was a Diaclone version. It was a red that was called
Okay.
Road Rage, whatever that's the Transformers name for it. But the Diaclone Red was a legitimate color, and
Hmm.
also it was a legitimate color of the Corvette. So they actually did the Corvette right.
Nice.
It both color wise, yeah. So yeah, I mean honestly, and I'm sorry, I'm transforming off screen here. Yeah, the third mode here. It was a cool figure, honestly. I never had it as a kid. I got it later on, and I love it because it's so unusual. It's one of those unusual forms for one of the Transformers cars. So yeah, big fan.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, what's not cool is this Hispanic kid shows up, and oh, here we go with some
Hold on.
80s
First of all,
blatant racism.
there's these two guys that try to hold up and carjack Tracks. And then they realize there's no one in there. And they start pulling out like Cobra handguns with shoot lasers.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people had lasers in this.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of street criminals had lasers in this. So one guy later on shoots Optimus or shoots Megatron with a laser.
Yeah.
And
So they they start shooting at him with lasers and he pierces tire and he cranes off and drives off into a light pole. Yeah. I guess that's enough for them. They don't want him anymore.
they run away, and then this Hispanic kid comes up, and
Yeah.
he's gonna carjack. I guess he also works for this chop shop, and he's gonna carjack him. So dude starts messing with him, and Trax talks to him. He opens the hood up, and he just sees what's this crazy engine in here. And so what's the first thing this dude does?
Clips the wire.
Cuts a wire. If you're gonna steal a car, like even if like I need this car to work. Maybe I should cut these plug wires in here. Maybe it'll make it work. Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking, dude?
Maybe if
Uh,
this wire here can't do anything wrong, it has to be like everything has to be working with it. So obviously, I'm going to pull this.
what was he trying to accomplish with this?
I don't know, man. He was like trying to he apparently wanted to fix it, but he was going to clip the only okay. Also, the only
Just one
wire going
wire.
across the top,
Yeah,
dude. If I had my Achilles heel, but the myth of Achilles, he's armed except for his heel where he
right.
got stabbed and taken down.
Yeah,
This is Trax's Achilles heel,
the wire.
completely open. It's sitting
Mhm.
across the top, like badly like loose and stuff. It's not even like secured in with like some clamps or anything. And he clips it. And then he
And the thing is the whole problem with the car is like it's got some body damage and a flat tire. It's
yeah.
like like if I call AAA because I have a flat tire, they're gonna come out and they're like, oh, let me cut this plug wire. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
well let me
like,
this just drive belt. You don't need this clip.
yeah, I'm gonna cut your serpentine belt. This is real.
Yeah.
This was it was real dumb.
Timing
Then
chain.
we get this scene though, and this is where we're amping up we're amping up the city at night here.
Yeah.
So we get this scene with a big traffic jam. I guess they're like Optimus Prime wants these guys to go look for. He wants everybody to go look for Decepticons. So he's got like Cosmos is flying around, and I think Sea Spray's flying around, and oh no, Sea Spray's boating around, and
Power lights flying.
Power Glide's flying around.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're all on patrol looking for Decepticons. I don't know why, because it's like there's no evidence of Decepticons doing anything. I guess it's just like slow night. But
Your
so
favorite.
I think Huffer and somebody are
Huffer
there's
is in car mode. Hoist is in the driver's
just
seat.
driving him. Yeah, I don't know. I
He's
don't know
hanging out the
why.
window. Talk about the I gotta stop real fast though, man. I don't know who Raoul has for like a hookup for like a body work, but dude, you've had to use a body shop before, right?
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Dude, no one gets things done in 3 hours. I don't care who you are.
No.
He has two spare tires for this Corvette lying around. He can hammer the hood back.
He
He
said he's
fixed
going to
like
hammer the hood out. He said he's going to hammer the
tweak
hood.
the front end.
Yeah.
Dude, you are amazing. I want you working on every car I
Th-
have like a
This is at like 10
affinity with.
o'clock at night. Also,
Yeah,
this is super
we're
late at
getting
night.
parts of this in damn night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have that happening, and then the Geddes brothers like they kind of like they rush him like, hey, you promised us a car, and the whole thing happens with Tracks is they're fixed, so he transforms and threatens the Geddes brothers. They
Mhm.
are driving the pinkest Cadillac I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
they really were. So so I need to touch on the city at night here though is
Yeah,
that Huffer and is in front of a place called the Cliff nightclub, which also contains the movie show.
yeah.
I want to go to the movie show. But in that,
I'm so excited for it soon. We're gonna come up to a point I want to see if you caught it.
oh
But
yeah, oh I caught it. I know what you're talking about. But there's also in that same building. There's also there's a list of other places in this building. There's the cafe. There's the Stro, which I guess is a bistro, which is like the cafe and the bistro. I think there may be a little conflict.
maybe they drink Strohs there.
Maybe it is. Well, but then there's the bar, all right underneath the Stro, and then Yoon. Yoon is right there. I don't know what's going on there. I can't figure out what Yoon means in Japanese, so I don't know.
You, do you-
So
I gotta ask though, man. Like, who thought it was a good idea to send a UFO to check on traffic in the rush hour in New York City? There is this
yeah.
Gulf Breeze UFO flying like real close to the hoods of
He's
the car.
right above these cars too, man. Like he is buzzing these guys. So
Guys, y'all check out the Gulf Breeze UFOs. This is exactly what Cosmos is. He's a Gulf Breeze UFO.
we're gonna do a subdivisions on the Gulf Breeze UFO
God, we
sightings,
need
by the way.
to. That was
As a side note, we're 10 minutes into this episode, and I have not seen a single Decepticon in this, and I am very happy with that. I'm very happy because it's just so weird and so cool. So the Chop Shop brothers are the Guinness brothers, whatever they were called, are so they're racing around. They're chasing Trax is chasing them. Trax is chasing them, I guess. And so we get another cool city at night cityscape where we have the Mugen nightclub. That's very cool. That's very cool. Mugen is the company that they do the performance parts for Honda.
yeah.
And that's very cool. That's I guess some racing nightclub here, but also right next to in the same building as that is a sign advertising Village, Intercom, and Portraits. And I don't know why I want to go there, but right next to that is the Stand bar. This is the bar called the Stand, and I'm
They
like,
did so much heavy lifting in the background of this episode.
There's so many bars in this
Yeah.
place, in this wherever New York or wherever they are. There's so many bars. So there's in another scene, there's a place that sells appliances. It says appliances, and it has a bar. And right next to that is the Casablanca ABBA Cafe.
That was a huge one. I loved.
It was huge. It was real cool. But
Yeah.
in the same building as that is the Victoria Restaurant, and I don't know where I want to go more. I don't know if I want to go to the Victoria Restaurant or the Casablanca ABBA Cafe.
Yep.
Probably the Casablanca. Okay.
Yep.
But then I know this is what you're talking. We get the marquee for the Transformers the movie. There it is.
Yes, there
But
it is.
In a prophetic moment, though, right next to that, at another theater, Lido is performing. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Did she play the flute? And is that who I'm thinking of? Lido?
That sounds familiar, man.
Is
I
that her
cannot
name? Lido?
remember that.
Lido? Lido? I think she's
Yeah.
she's that flautist that was the people got mad at because
A flautist.
she played the glass flute that belonged to some dead white man, and people got mad because she That's the woman I'm thinking of, right? Is that and is that is that am I thinking of the that's
Like, I can't even think of what the fuck, what the heck you're talking about, man.
um
Um,
so but then we also get, let's bring it back to Earth. We also get the Admiral TV and Appliances building. That's cool. And then there's the Cuba building, the Dallas building, and the Kentucky building. They just name buildings, and they keep going. There's dozens more that I didn't write down, but there's just tons and tons of places here. There was one called there was one that I thought was funny called the Brazilian,
yes,
but it was spelled like you're spelling bazillion. Like yeah, I thought that was funny.
I mean, let's give it to the I want to say Korean animators who did this. At least they got this much right. I got to tell you also, last episode, Boo and I were working on well, actually, it'll come out after this episode because I recorded just I was like we're trying to do some things during the holidays. There is a callback in the Machine Man comic to Dallas, which I know you're a huge fan of.
The show Dallas.
Yeah, the show Dallas.
Oh, I'm a fan. You know, I'm a
Yeah,
fan.
the character's like, oh, I'm gonna see my last episode of Dallas or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, he meant they throw Dallas in there.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of Dallas.
I know you are. You know who shot JR. So
remember the joke from when you ever do that? You counted the fingers. There was this dumb joke when like during the Who Shot JR thing, there was people would be like, hey, let me see your hand. And they would count who shot JR, and they would count your fingers from your thumb, and then like put that finger down, and you do it, and you would count and pull fingers down until you had just like a finger gun, and you'd be like, you did.
I do not remember that.
It was real.
Apparently Dallas was not big in my friends group.
Well, I mean, I was like 6 or something like that when Who Shot JR was a thing. So I mean,
I was younger. Anyways.
So we get some more cool backgrounds. We get there's a casino with French can dancers. That happens in the middle of New York City a whole lot, I'm sure. And there's also an ad for a thing called the Fokker game, Fokker, like Roy Fokker, like Roy Fokker from Robotech, Macross, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that word in Dutch means breeder, which is where the F word, the popular F word that you stated earlier, that I don't say that word on the air, but that's where that word came from.
Obviously,
it does not. It's not an acronym for
fornicator
the king. But yeah, that's where that word probably
found the root of the F bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. That's nice, man.
Dutch word. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what kind of game that is that happens in the middle of a major thoroughfare in
dude. It was New York City in the mid '80s. I'm sure it was actually that.
What kind of game is it? Is it like horse racing? Because they have
it's horse racing.
Not a thing. But this is like in a skyscraper. Are they racing horses in a skyscraper?
Yeah, that's exactly that. It's horse racing. Is exactly what the Fokker game is.
Okay.
So man, Starscream shows up, and Power
finally we get Decepticons in this episode.
I'm so happy because you shared one of your daily things on Facebook. Help me here.
My aesthetics of the day.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a mall that looked like the mall from Commando.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah.
And this mall that Starscream pulls them into, it has this whole thing
that same mall.
It kind of does look like the same.
It's got the cylindrical elevators and everything.
Glass elevator.
Sorry, this mall is called the Man and Woman Shoe Center. And that's very cool. But when you get into the Man and Woman Shoe Center shopping mall, every store is just called bargain sale. Every store is called what kind of bargains on what?
Man and women's shoes, man.
Man and woman shoe.
Yeah. They're always trying to outdo each other. But there is a major problem with scale. I know this show has a major problem with scale. There's a major problem with scale. Starscream is running up the stairwell.
Yeah, that was very cool. I like that. I was a big fan.
He
I
is,
didn't want to, but I wasn't going to bring it up. I'm the one that always brings this up.
yeah,
I'm
no,
not bringing
dude.
it up this time.
They are
I told you a
running
while back.
around.
I'm done with this.
Yeah, well, I know. Apparently a Gulf Breeze UFO is just big enough to carry a glass elevator down to the floor and deliver them to safety.
Mhm.
And Starscream is just small enough to shoot off of the railing of the second floor and then cackle and then like fly through the hole he made in the ceiling. The scale is all messed up in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Man and Woman Shoe Center was initially like 5 stories tall, but ended up being like 2 stories whenever he flew out of there somehow.
Something like that. It's good enough.
Yeah, it was real weird. It was just but it was like a random fight in this shopping mall. But then we get so finally, like 2/3 the way through this episode, we get to the actual like plot of what's going on. And so like these gangsters have been stealing these cars to give to Megatron. And Megatron double crosses him. Oh,
I gotta stop you real quick.
oh,
So they took them to the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. Do you know this is a legit place?
the Pine Barrens is a legit place in New Jersey.
Yes, it is the last remaining example of Atlantic coastal Pine Barrens ecosystem that stretches across 7 counties in New Jersey. It helps recharge the 17 trillion US gallon Kirkwood Cohanson aquifer.
What site are you reading that from?
I actually I went to NewJersey.gov. I actually
okay.
I like to figure out like things like because I studied Pine Barrens. I studied a Highland pine plains and such. I worked a lot with, of course, my degree, but this is the actual area. Pine Barrens is a place where you can go camp, you can go explore, you can go hike in New Jersey. It was the last legitimate Atlantic coastal pine systems in the United States.
So are you allowed to? Can you build on a Pine Barrens?
No, you cannot. It is a protected area.
Can you?
Well, you probably can, but not this one.
So you can't. So you can't build a giant villain headquarters. And
you cannot build a giant Art Deco golf ball looking villain headquarters. No, with chop shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. That's good to know.
Well, I don't think they pulled permits for this though.
You never know. You never know, man. So yeah, so these two goateed gangsters. These guys are ahead of their time because goatees weren't really a thing in the 80s, man. And goatees weren't a thing until like 1991.
Still at that point, I mean, not so much, but yeah.
You didn't see a whole lot of goatees, man. These dudes were avant-garde. These dudes were getting ready. So, but of course, Megatron doesn't want to give them $1 million, so he just pulls out his particle beam cannon and aims it at him. And so, what does this dude? What does this Guido do here? He shoots him with a laser pistol.
Dude, Ed, come on, man. How many episodes have you done? That is a fusion cannon, not a particle beam cannon.
My bad.
Come on, dude.
Sorry, man. I was
come on.
That was my fault. I was
at least try a little bit. So it pulls out a laser.
Sorry, I've had rifts on the brain lately. The role-playing game Rifts. So,
he was definitely a well, actually no, that's I'm thinking Glitter Boy is not it's not a particle beam, that's a railgun.
It's a railgun, yeah. That's the boom gun, the railgun. Man, we're going super off the rails. We're getting into some deep nerd territory with this. I'm sure like people are just stopping this episode and deleting it from their phones right now.
As they probably should. And the Constructicons are retrofitting cars. They're retrofitting cars with swords.
This was really cool.
They're chopping the broadswords in this conveyor belt.
I know. I was really into this.
I'm trying to figure out what the whole point of this is. They're conveyor belts, and there's like scrap in there going. Bang!
I was so excited by this part. This was so cool. So yeah, there's some hijinks ensue, and they're gonna scrap Tracks is like undercover. They're gonna scrap Tracks, and then Tracks ends up transforming, and he starts to fight, runs away, and then the other Autobots show up. I guess they've been tracking him, which is fine. But there's a little scuffle, but Sideswipe, who shows up for all of like 2 seconds in this episode, just shows up, transforms, and power bombs Ravage, and then he's gone. And that was real cool. I was real into the power bomb.
He has a purpose, and yeah, man. And he looks like Raoul's like yelling at him and stuff, and he's like looks like he's gonna turn to Raoul and like, who are you, kid? And Trax is like, no, Sideswipe, he's a friend. Like
he made a friend.
Sideswipe's gonna kill this kid.
What was he gonna do?
I don't know. It was not going to be good. I don't know what it was.
I know, right?
I really dig the when the Autobots show up though to the base. There's like this silhouette of all the Decepticons falling, like
Mhm.
flying into the base, and then the Autobots all drive up. Like there's this showdown right here on this like land
Yeah.
bridge thing. Yeah, so the whole thing with the cars in the city was look like it could have been a lot. This could have been like a two-parter or something like that. But like really learn quickly, like, hey, Blaster, jam the signal.
Yeah, it was so yeah. So we find out that the whole thing is that the Decepticons are taking these cars and they're turning them into like drones, and then but
Mhm.
then they eventually like transform, and that was really cool. There's
Dude,
a there's a big
they,
battle,
yeah, they
and
remind me of the there was this we're talking about a while back. There was this frame, this Gundam frame that was this like generic looking green one.
yeah, the general production, the GP. I know the one you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
because I thought the same thing
They look
whenever.
just like that, yeah.
Because well, that was no, that's what's funny though is that these cars are like they're all different colored random cars, but they all transform and they look the same and they're
Green
all
and
green and
yellow.
yellow. Yeah, every one of them's green and yellow, and that was cool.
Yeah.
But in this big battle, there's in the background predicting the future here. We've got a Simpsons moment where we have a giant skyscraper with a giant logo for Amazon.
I didn't notice that. I gotta go back and look.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's huge. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that was. I was like, huh.
That's pretty good.
But as a funny bit though, there's a little scuffle going on, and there's a place for bodybuilding across the street from a place to play dominoes. Not Domino's Pizza, brother. No, it's
Dominoes.
Domino's Game. Like you can go play dominoes over there, and you can go over and you can lift weights. And that sounds
Wow.
like my kind of us. That's my kind of corner right there. If we can get the French
Man,
can
really?
dancers like on the next corner, going.
And you can go to the Casablanca and cafe and like have a little meal afterwards too.
I wonder what kind of food they have there. You think it's like Moroccan food or
I
something
hope
like that? I
so.
think it's like
Otherwise, this is a wasted opportunity.
yeah. I mean, I don't
They
know.
gotta
I
have
mean,
they gotta have a really good black dude playing on the piano.
yeah,
Really good. And they have to have some guy walking around in a suit looking slick and drinking martinis.
yeah. That's
Yeah, they
me.
have
That's
to.
me. That's just me being there. That's how that.
You know, that's me, man. I'll out martini you
Oh,
any
oh,
day.
you.
Extra dirty. Let's do this.
Oh man.
Um, yeah, so man, the whole fight happens, the car, man, I gotta say real quick though, before they go out and they do this raid on the headquarters, I guess. They are standing in a circle in the secret Sparkplug secret base in the city,
Mhm.
which by the way, it's an Autobot base because it opens and there's orange metal everywhere.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
they're all standing in a circle and Soundwave is standing there. I think it's supposed to be Sideswipe, but it's Soundwave. He's got the blues out
Yeah,
like the shoulder thing and all that. Yeah.
yeah. That was weird.
So yeah, all this stuff kind of happens. They're attacking. Raoul runs in there and tries to I guess wreck the computer. And Megatron grabs him. He's up there saying like, oh, you put down your guns or I'm gonna kill this kid.
Mhm.
And Raoul hits a button and opens up a panel in Megatron's stomach and just like starts shooting and starts doing spray paint in there. He starts marking, man. He starts tagging
Tagging it up, dude.
Megatron.
Yeah, throwing it up, dude. Yeah, that was kind of bizarre, but cool.
Yeah.
And like, and then they the
Well,
Decepticons fly off, and then the Autobots decide to turn all the cars back into regular cars.
which I love it. They're driving all 300 cars into Sparkplug's garage.
Yeah, like he has a garage in the middle of New York. No, who knew?
Man, that's kind of cool. Like they've got all these helpers, and like Raoul's like, I gotta go, man. And the truck's like, oh, where are you going, Raoul? I'll help you, buddy. So Tracks and Raoul have their buddy team up.
They're friends
Flip
now.
some
So
cars.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hold
Um,
on to your Bobbysocks.
yeah.
Yes.
Hold on. Oh God, what a goof. Yeah,
I,
that was it.
I think
That was it.
yeah, Raoul is like the no, so Trax is like the version of a 50s or 60s musical about people who are like rich people who live in New York with that Harvard jaw.
Yeah, he's that. He's kind of like John Hughesy in a way too. He's like that, kind of like that dude that you hated in like a John Hughes movie or in like
Lame.
Caddyshack or something like that. You know,
Yeah, he is actually. He's
like
the
the
old guy
son
in
in Caddyshack.
Caddyshack, the bad I guess say the bad guy, the old white guy, or white haired guy.
Yeah,
Well, old white
like
guy too,
the
yes.
judge or whatever. Is that right?
Yes. Those tracks.
Yeah, Caddyshack I've watched recently, and it's actually a really bad movie. But I
Yeah.
do. My friend, one of my best friends, and I quote this line where and I think that a band sampled it at some point, where like it's like the judge and his son are going up to like the snack bar, and the son's like, "I want a hamburger, no a cheeseburger. I want a hot dog. I want a milkshake," and his dad just gets mad, and he's like, "You'll get nothing and like it."
I've heard that.
My friend that I just quote that all the time. He's like I man, I really want really go for a pizza right now. You'll get nothing and like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I strangely really like this episode a lot.
Oh
I
yeah, it's
like
great.
it's got the city at night vibe, which
Mhm.
like obviously that's all I talked about the entire episode, so obviously I love that. But it's also kind of a downbeat episode. It
Mhm.
has real low stakes, which you don't, it's not something we see a whole lot in Transformers, so it's cool to get those little side little like minor, consequence side stories like that. um and like and like I said, before, Tracks was like one of my favorite Transformers like toys to play with when I was a kid, and I really dug him. So I hate how much of a snob they make him, because he's just like an unlikable character.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
he's a cool looking guy. He's a cool looking car, and Kid Brain on this one's gonna go 3.5 Mohawks out of inner city punk rocker Mohawks out of 5. But Adult Brain, I really enjoyed this one a whole lot, and so I'm gonna have to go on that one. I'm gonna go 4. Um, man, 4 Mugen nightclubs out of 5. Yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, okay. This is one of the ones we always made fun of because if you take it out of context, Trax's lines with Raoul are really, really bad. Like, hold on your Bobbysocks and get out of there, Trax. Um, there's a lot of like fun tongue-in-cheek things with you over the years, and the McConaughey, who does the voice of Trax, said there's nothing weird or anything like creepy about Trax or Raoul. They're friends. It was kind of a weird, like, East Side meets West Side kind of friendship. I'll tell you this though, watching this episode, there is so much stuff going on in the episode that is not even, the plot doesn't even matter. Like you
No.
said, the city at night stuff is great. The little Easter eggs here and there, and they were working on the Transformers movie at this point, anyways. So I wonder if that
Oh,
was.
really?
We always
Okay.
wonder if that was an Easter egg they intentionally put in there, like, hey, get on the lookout for this stuff. So yeah, man, honestly, this is a fun episode. It is low stakes. It's a lot of okay. One of the reasons I like the track so much is because there was not a lot of repaints and redos of his mold. There was only one, back then. He was a one-off. So it was like kind of one of those weird, you don't see a lot of versions of him out there. There's not like he's like a red version or a yellow version or a green version. It was just tracks back in the day. So we always kind of like that. I think he was kind of special for that reason. And so we have an episode just with him in what is really Reagan's New York City, where Ed Koch's, I guess, Koch's, whatever his last name is pronounced. I kind of like it. It is a really nice time capsule to New York at that time with a million bars, which I
So
can
many
I can
bars.
yeah, they're fantastic theme bars too.
So many bars.
Yeah, so man, honestly, go back and watch this, and also knowing that the Pine Barrens is a real place and is an ecologically important place is cool for me.
And that's very
So
that's good to know too. See,
yeah,
don't ever come out of saying
real
we don't educate you
world
guys when you listen to this episode.
factors.
Real world factors.
Yeah. So I'm gonna definitely give this like this is gonna be 4 chop shops in the dark of New York's Manhattan Bronx area out of 5,
Ooh.
and big fan of this. So yeah, this is one of those episodes that people watch over and over again. I have, and I know a lot of other fans have too. So it's always fun. So I appreciate it a lot. But man, I'm glad you are feeling better again. You are back up in it.
Thanks, man. Me too. It was
Yeah.
pretty. It was a little rough. I unfortunately having to make some lifestyle changes due to my injuries. As a as an aside, my a couple of people have asked me on Discord a couple of times that, like, because I used to talk about martial arts on this on here, like, oh, like, oh man, it'd be really cool if, like, the Autobots had like a martial art, and that worked like this or whatever, and like, but people ask me if I study martial arts, and I do, or I did. I studied Taekwondo pretty extensively, and also I take or took now Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes for the last year and a half, and I really love that. But unfortunately, due to until my shoulder's healed up, I cannot do that anymore. So got to find something else active to do, because I can't not do something. But it's too bad, because that was one of the thing that I really love loved, and it was a real positive thing for me. But and it's yeah, it really kind of bums me out that I'm basically out indefinitely. But
No, I get that, man. I mean, we need things to do. I mean, actually, I'm trying to get myself back into weightlifting more like I used to do. It's harder when you're, in this age, but it feels good to get some accomplishments done. And so, I know martial arts is very important to you, and it give you something to do, give you something to work for, and we always need that kind of sort of thing.
yeah.
So yeah, definitely. But it's good to see you back, and good to see you're on the mend, as it were, and all that. So, man, I would ask you, do you have a quote to take us out this week?
No, I don't have a quote to take us out with
That
this week.
but that's okay.
Oh, do you have a quote?
I do not have a quote this week.
Oh, no, well,
But
no,
I
because I was I've been all as I said before, like I'm not I'm not quitting Warhammer. I quitting pro wrestling. But no, I've been all the last couple of weeks I've been really excited and really eaten up with a thing called the Old World, which was the original version of Warhammer, was like the fantasy game that where it was like a rank and file kind of thing or whatever. And that game has been out of print since, like, I think, like 2011 or something like that. And they stopped making that and made like a newer version, like a different kind of thing with a different setting. But the setting, the original Warhammer setting, I love, is very close to my heart. It's very low, dirty fantasy, like early Renaissance era kind of thing. But they're reissuing this game. It's coming back out, and I'm extremely excited for this, and I'm very excited to paint up a bunch of dudes on square bases instead of round bases, and have 8 million little peasants and dudes with bows, and regular dudes, and not a bunch of World of Warcraft style super villains and heroes running around. So
I have to ask you though, is that the setting where everyone has a knife in the boot?
that is the setting where everyone has a knife and a boot. Yes. And I think that on the next episode we should explain that joke, because it actually is a pretty funny thing.
That was a great one.
It was.
All right, y'all, take it easy. Have a great week. Happy New Year and all of that. We will get this going and move on we'll keep going through season 2. And now that Ed's back on the mend, y'all, thanks for being here.
I think we may end up the next episode is the one with the like the race cars, right?
Is it all about to run?
Yeah. I think we may have a guest. I think we may have a guest next week.
Really?
Yeah, maybe. I'll have to confirm and see. But yeah, I think we have a guest.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Y'all, take it easy. Thanks a lot for being here, and see you next week. Later.
Roll out.
More Than Meets These Guys is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland, Research is performed by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research done by Boo of the AxelonUnderground.net. All used images in the videos are property of Sunbow, Hasbro, Paramount, or Marvel. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in every week with us. We appreciate it.